with Scott Wolf, and this is USC Report. So, spring practice is underway with the new coach, Steve Sarkisian. Now, how are practices looking with him running them now?
The pace, I'm not going to say the pace of the whole practice is faster, because in reality the practices are the same as Lane Kiffin and Pete Carroll, but they're faster during the time when the offense runs plays. They do about 120 plays instead of maybe 60 plays in a practice, so that's a lot faster. So that one period, you notice a big difference during the practice, but the other periods, it's just like when Pete Carroll was here, and Lane Kiffin ran practices really fast. It's a big myth whenever a new coach gets hired at SC now that you have to say they run faster practices, but he's not running faster practices. He's running practices that are fast-paced, but he learned that from Pete Carroll. So it's about the same, but the offense is faster because there's no huddle.
Right.
So that part is a big difference for the players.
Yeah, definitely. He was saying that the players felt like they were getting a lot more out of their time because they were getting so many more plays within a 2-hour span. So he's really looking to be more efficient with that.
And they have to be in better shape, too, because they don't get that rest between huddles. So that's going to help them in the regular season, because even in the games like against Oregon and stuff, conditioning was always something they wanted to be aware of, because Oregon's not huddling up, and you got to keep going. So I think they're catching up with everybody else basically by doing this.
And now one of the main focuses that we've been seeing throughout the practices are, of course, the quarterbacks, who's going to be the starter. Right now it's looking like Cody Kessler is still kind of holding the lead. What are the chances of anything else happening, do you think?
Well, it's so hard to say Cody Kessler would not be the starter when he started 14 games, and they did win 10 games. I don't see how he could lose the job going into the season opener. I don't think it's enough time for Max Brown to win the job, because he's still in his first year of school here. I think the question is, say, down the road, does Steve Sarkisian think he could get more out of the offense with Max Brown or Cody Kessler? Definitely right now, Cody Kessler. On my blog, I've talked about maybe against a UCLA or a Notre Dame, the big teams, maybe Max Brown would have been somebody next year they would get more out of. But it's a tough decision to make, and you got to really be courageous to say a guy who hasn't started before is going to play over an established player who's been fairly successful. So, Cody Kessler's the quarterback, but I guess it'll be interesting to see when he names him the starter, and whether during the season next year will Max Brown get a chance to start a game.
Right, and he did mention, Sarkisian mentioned, that Cody Kessler was picking up the quick plays, one of the quickest that he's ever seen as a quarterback. So
I've heard that from
lot.
several coaches here. He learned the offense faster than the Washington quarterbacks did. And, in the defense of the Washington quarterbacks, they had to learn more plays because they were more athletic and they were going to run. And Cody and Max Brown are not the fastest guys, so they kind of dumbed down the offense too for them because of that. But the fact that he has learned what he's been given very fast has impressed them.
Right. And now, still sticking with kind of the quarterback idea, there's an interesting case of a quarterback, David Sills, who committed to USC when he was very young. Now he's growing up. What's his status?
David Sills, I call him the baby quarterback on my blog. As you said, he committed in 7th grade. I'm of the understanding he will not be coming to USC. I've talked to some people back east, and they said that he hasn't even spoken to the USC coaches, and Steve Sarkisian's been here since December. So that's very odd to me that he hasn't heard from them. And I would say, even though he's listed as committed to USC right now, he will be going elsewhere to college. And that's big news in the sense that it was such a big story when he committed, because he was a 7th grader. And I always thought it was kind of a publicity stunt. And now here we are 4 years later, and he's not going to come. So it was really just a waste of time. And I think Lane Kiffin was trying to create a buzz, and he was also helping out some of Sills' people, giving them some publicity too. Right. So, it's probably best he not come now that Sarkisian is the coach.
Right. I mean, that's why this doesn't happen normally. It's because so much changes within 4 years that It's just kind of silly in the first place.
Even when a kid's a freshman in high school and he commits, very often he doesn't end up coming to that college. So, yeah, nobody should really commit before their junior year, I don't think.
No, I definitely agree. I agree with that. And then also, a new development that's happening here with USC football is the Coliseum. As you've talked a little bit about your blog, it'd be great to get a renovation, of course, but what are some of your hesitations about this?
I heard that there's been like 250,000 surveys sent out for the renovation of the Coliseum. They're getting the fans' opinions on changes. Overall, this is a positive thing because the Coliseum's going to get redone. They're going to upgrade, new press box, new seats, club seats, all that kind of stuff. So that's great. Now, the thing the fans are worried about is at the end of the survey, they tucked in the question, how much would you be willing to pay for the seats with a personal seat license? And most of the seats were $4,000. So that's pretty outrageous when you're a family of four or you have 4 tickets, and that's $16,000. Plus you got to pay for Cardinal Gold membership and then the tickets on top of that. But everyone's telling me here to relax. It's not set in stone. They're going to wait, not make any decisions, and see what's going to happen. But as I tell people who are boosters all the time, I know you're going to be paying. One way or another, you're going to pay. So even though they're telling me this is not a certainty, I would say brace yourself for a PSL that could be quite hefty, because all these renovations are going to require a lot of money. They're probably going to need more than the $70 million that they're talking about putting into the Coliseum. So this is going to be something that people are going to talk about, I think, for a couple years, and it just started today or this week. But they knew this was coming when they asked the question. The university knew that people were going to initially be upset. And they were telling me tonight that the survey, the reaction is actually not as overwhelmingly against it as they thought. Now, on my blog, it was 80%, 20% against paying for those PSLs. So, I have a different audience perhaps. But we'll have to see. But it's definitely going to be something we're talking about.
I mean, a lot of renovations. We just had this Heritage Hall redone. Now, potentially Coliseum, you can really tell that.
And the swim stadium.
Exactly.
The K Center.
Exactly. The athletics here at USC is definitely getting renovated everywhere. It's a very exciting time.
Every move you make, you're paying a fee for something, as a student.
Definitely. I'm sure we are. Hidden fees everywhere.
Yeah, so you know how that works.
Definitely. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
But a lot of exciting things happening here, and I'm excited to see how the rest of spring unfolds with Steve Sarkisian and all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I think next week we'll do another video, because Saturday they're going to practice at the Coliseum, so
that's right.
We'll see how that goes.
I'll have some live scrimmage, so that'll be exciting.
Are you going to go to that practice?
I definitely will be there. I'm excited to see more of a flow and the guys actually tackling.
Yeah, in full pads.
Exactly. It'll be exciting. So I'm excited to talk to you about that after the...
So wrap this up and take us out of here.
All right. Well, I'm Reed Silverman. I'm with Scott Wolf, and this is USC Reporting.